story, I've got a question for you. Have you ever just grabbed a paintbrush, grabbed a piece of paper, grabbed some paint, and just gone and painted anything that you wanted to? Maybe it was something that you thought of, maybe it's something that you saw, but you painted anything you wanted to. I hope you've had a chance to do that. If you've not, I encourage you to go do it right after this. But today we have a story about a painter, very famous painter. This is actually him right here. Let's see. His name is Claude Monet. Now you can tell from the picture that he is not somebody who's probably living right now. He was born in the year 1840, so way over 100 years ago, almost closer to 200 years ago. But Claude Monet is still very, very, very well recognized today for all of his paintings, and a lot of his paintings use these bright, bright colors. But today we're going to read one story, and the story is about just one day that he painted. But just with this one day, we still learn so much about him. And another thing I love about this story is that it's got the story, but it also has some little facts throughout. And so we're going to read all about it today. So it is called Monet Paints a Day, written by Julie Danneberg and illustrated by Caitlin Himmerell. All right. It starts off right here with a letter. It says, November 1885. Dear Alice, this morning I went under the Monteport to paint. I want to make a success of it because it's very beautiful, but very different, I think. So I wonder who Alice is. Guess we'll find out. I, Claude Monet, impressionist painter, step out of the Hotel Blaquette, ready to paint the day. So that must be him. Winter sunlight pours through the sparkling morning mist, and a gaggle of children wait for me, anxious to carry my half-finished paintings. Like a string of ducklings, they follow me, toting my canvases while I carry my paint box and palette. So there's the boys and girls just kind of following him along, carrying these big paintings. That one looks like it might even be too heavy for her. Here's one of those facts. It says Monet created at least 83 paintings while on holiday, which means on vacation, in France. He frequently wrote to his fiancée, Alice, who the letter was to, about his progress. So 83 paintings while he was on vacation. That's a lot. Now, I like this painting. What do you think it is, or where do you think it is? Can you kind of take a guess? I see some birds here. Carefully, we make our way down the zigzagging cliff path and then trudge across the rocky beach. Oh, so he must be at the beach somewhere. It says most of the painters during Monet's time made sketches outside and then returned to their studios to paint. But not Monet. He preferred to paint nature right on the spot, even though it meant he had to lug all of his equipment and supplies to and from the hotel every day. That must be why he got those children to help him. When we finally reached the crescent-shaped strip of sand, surrounded by towering cliffs, I stop. We are here, I say. The children carefully sat down my canvases, and I toss them candy and coins, and they scatter like seagulls. They know that I can be sunny and pleasant one minute, and then suddenly my anger can roll in like a storm cloud. What makes me angry? Well, bad weather, poor light, and most of all, frustrations with my painting. Now, have you ever gotten frustrated? I know I have when I've been doing different things. So it sounds like he knows that he's probably going to get frustrated and the kids just kind of leave. Monet's frustration sometimes led to temper tantrums. When he was angry, he might throw paintings that he disliked into the water or just rip them up. And once he even burned some that were especially displeasing to him. Oh my. I turn to study the water. Before me stretches the endlessly moving sea. Above me looms the unchanging stone arch called the Manaport, and around me swirls the shimmering gold sunlight. Now, it says that Impressionist painters tried to capture the feeling or the impression of a scene rather than try and copy it exactly like it was. To this, they used lighter, brighter colors and these quick brush strokes. So you can see this is an impressionistic painting. So you can tell what it is, but it doesn't look exactly like it would if you went and visited it. Flipping through my unfinished canvases, I choose one that matches today's glittering morning. I unfold my easel and stool and prepare my palette. The wind spatters sand against my neck and into my paints, but I don't mind. I concentrate on mixing the paint colors to capture the pinks and the oranges of the stone, and the blues and the violets of the horizon, and the greens of the rolling waves. He's got a lot of colors going on in his mind, doesn't he? Monet often had with him several partially finished paintings of the same thing. As time passed and the light changed, he would move to different canvases, choosing the one that matched the time of the day, the weather, and the light in front of him. So back here you see he had a lot of paintings right here. They were probably all kind of the same thing with just different colorings and different time and weather. Quickly, I ruffle my paintbrush against the canvas as jade waters ruffle against the shore's edge. I drag paint across the canvas as retreating waves drag silver sand into the ocean. And I flutter and dab my brush at the canvas as the sea foam flutters briefly above the surf and disappears. So he's got a lot going on. It says Monet painted at a feverish pace, feeling that he only had about 7 to 15 minutes to work on a painting before the light changed. And then he'd have to switch to another one that looked more like what he was seeing. The rumbling waves explode a warning at my feet. But I can't stop painting. Not now. Faster, faster, only a few more minutes to catch this light, I mutter to myself. Now, down here it says, Monet later told Alice that although he had noticed the waves at his feet, he thought the tide was going out and not coming in. Can you predict what's going to happen? Look. So he's sitting here, but what's happened? Looks like the waves are taking his supplies out. Swoosh! A giant wave towers over me. Swish! It knocks me down. Crash! Water rains down over my head, over my easel, over my painting. That's not good. Oh dear, look at this. What do you think's going on in this picture? It looks like to me, I think he's underwater. There's a crab. His hat's over here. The wave drags me into the sea, which swallows me whole. I tumble like a shell against the bottom of the ocean. My lungs empty, and my heart pounds with fear. I look desperately towards the surface. Yeah, look, he's with the fish. Ah! And then the ocean spits me out. My heart swells with relief. I lie on the sand, gasping for breath, still clinging to my palette, wiping away bits of yellow and blue paint stuck in my beard. I look around for my easel, my stool, my painting. Alas, everything is gone, taken by the glistening green waves. Oh no. You think that's going to make him angry? Here's part of his letter. Let's read it. It says, the cause of all of this, as I never go out without checking the exact hour of the tide, is that having seen the agenda in the hotel, which gives the times of the tides, I didn't notice that yesterday's sheet hadn't been torn off. The worst of it is that I lost my broken canvas. So he's telling Alice, because I bet this letter is to Alice, he says, I checked the paper, but it was yesterday's paper, not today's paper. I trudge away from the crescent-shaped beach, away from the stone arch, across the rocks, up the zigzagging path, towards the hotel, where dry clothes, a warm fire, and a soothing cup of tea await. As I reach the top of the cliff, I face the sea one more time, knowing that I will be back tomorrow. The end. Now I want you to look right here. This is the painting, the real painting that this story is about. Isn't that neat? It's called Waves at the Manaport, 1885. And that is the end of our story. And boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this story about Claude Monet. And I hope that you will go and maybe try and buy this book. It's way more fun to have the book in your hand. And definitely go try and do maybe your very own painting. Use some bright colors. Maybe go outside like Claude Monet does and paint exactly what you see. Have a wonderful day.